Portobello Bolognese pasta bake. This is my cheater's way of doing lasagna. Basically, this is instead of your traditional spaghetti and meat sauce. We're using portobello mushrooms as your substitute for meat because they're meaty. They're nice and dark. Don't gill them. Keep that nice dark stuff in there. That's what we're talking about, whole food. Don't eat part foods, and that includes the gills on your portobellos. And they're just nice and meaty. They're nice and thick. People eat portobello burgers and things like that for a reason, because they're just nice and hearty. So I call it a pasta bake, and I'll show you why. This is a pasta, and I've baked it, hence pasta bake. The reason I like this is because now this can freeze too. I do some private chefing for a client, and despite my myriad cooking skills, every time I go there, it's like, make me more pasta bake. Because he just cuts it up into like 4, freezes it in portions, and takes it to work every day. Like, don't you get tired of that? Nope. So this is very easy, very hearty. Of course, with his, it has like 14 pounds of meat in it. So no meat in this. You can use, I use the macaroni from the bulk, the elbow noodles. There's like 3 different types of noodles in there, and they all kind of cook at different rates. So if you want a little more consistency, get a package, which might be, because it had thick ones and thin ones and just different varieties. So some might be a little hard, some might be mushy. It's cheaper, but sometimes you get what you pay for. Usually I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff, but when you're a finicky control freak chef, having pasta of different varieties and consistencies in your final product is a bit irksome. So this is, this is as simple as it gets as far as my recipes go. You've got your 4 cups of cooked pasta, which is, 2 cups of dry kind of thing. It basically doubles in volume. I did use the half and half olive oil grapeseed for this one. The one thing about, we talked about that high heat. I don't use high heat. I have high heat to bring my pan up to temperature, but as soon as I put my onions back in there, you're back down to 5. You're back down to medium. There's no reason to cook. The reason that you start with your onions and cook them at a medium temperature is because you're not looking for color. You're looking for them to soften up and become sweet. And that's all you need is a medium heat. If you really want to speed up the process, put a lid on, because then you're going to generate steam and it's going to make it much faster. It's going to make it softer faster, maybe not necessarily sweet, because onions, you need to cook the sugar out. So because we're not blasting, we're not deep frying, the olive oil isn't too bad for something like this, but I did half and half with the grapeseed. Then this is just a pretty much straight up simple pasta sauce. Sweet pepper, onion, mushrooms, fresh garlic. I like the oregano for something like this, but you can use whatever. I always use fresh. I don't use dry herbs for things like this if you can help it. Salt, a little bit of chili flakes to give it a little, I was your father. And then a can of the crushed. Now, because this is an actual pasta sauce, I wasn't worried like the cabbages where I wanted to control the consistency. This is a straight up sauce, so the crushed tomatoes work really well for this particular product. Once you get it in there and cooked, so you have your onions and you've got your mushrooms and your peppers, your garlic, you get your tomato sauce in there and let it simmer away. Close to the end, almost like you would with your fresh herbs, put your spinach in. Because the spinach is going to cook out rather quickly. It takes about 2 minutes, and it just kind of melts down, and it'll disappear in there. And it just adds a little extra nutrient density to something like this. 2 tips of spinach, and then on top I have a combination of mozzarella and cheddar cheese. Now, if you're not doing the lacto-ovo type thing, dispense with the cheese and just eat the pasta when you finish cooking it. But this is a million times better than that, because cheese, kind of like butter and fresh herbs, makes things taste good. This is the Lencentre. I hope I'm saying that properly and nobody sues me. Great cheese, lovely. Raw milk, organic, lactose-free, but it's not soy cheese. It's not pretending to be cheese. It tastes like cheese, and it tastes like really, really good cheese. So I tend to use a combination of like the aged in combination with the mozzarella, because it's pasta, you need the mozzarella in there, but the extra cheddar, the extra aged cheddar, gives it a little bit of flavor. Hey? We'll do that at the end. It's down on the end there. That's what the cheese looks like now. All crispy and baked. So I baked this most of the way at home, and I knew I was going to be reheating it here, and I didn't want it to go over. So, but it's about an hour, and my wife was asking me, well, you know, you've cooked the pasta and you've cooked the noodles. Why are you doing the bake afterwards? It's just to kind of gel everything and to melt that nice cheese up on top. Yep.
Now, as a diabetic, I know it's not real carbohydrate. So what is it that makes it taste sweet?
Natural sugars.
There isn't sugar in it.
Well, it'll break down. Just trust me on this. It gets sweeter, but it's not going to affect you as a diabetic. Talk to your doctor before you listen to me about anything dealing with diabetes.